What is going on, YouTube? A few years back, I did a video talking about how retro game YouTubers and everybody on here influenced my collection. My collection was a lie. It was not me. And it just feels like a subject that I want to touch back on because it used to get such a great response. And yeah, I think we need to update it and talk a little bit more about it. Now, obviously, the video was talking about how, let's face it, with any kind of influencer, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, the TikTokies, Facebook, or whatever, you guys follow these people, and they have some kind of hold on a lot of people, I would say, in general. And obviously, I was very influential, and yeah, so I hopped into the hobby when a friend had inherited a storage unit and it was full of retro games. And we started watching channels like Metal Jesus Rocks, John Riggs, and stuff like that. So we got really into retro games. Well, then what comes with retro games? Having to buy retro games, obviously. So I was watching these videos. I was watching, like, Metal Jesus Rocks top 10 hidden gems, or, videos like that, hidden gems of the Wii or whatever like that. And I was like, okay, he says these videos are good. He has 100,000 viewers or 100,000 subscribers. They must be good, right? So then I would go on and start buying games like that, even though most of them turned out to be garbage, in my opinion. These hidden gems really weren't hidden gems. It was just actual people's favorite games, kind of. And then on top of that, what really happened, too, is I started following channels that were, game hunting. I would start watching more channels like Game Chasers, Pixel Game Squad, and stuff like that. So I was like really into, okay, I gotta find these games. These guys are making money selling games, or they're building their collections for cheap. And just a side note, this is no shade thrown to these channels. Obviously, they're making content they were wanting to make and doing all this stuff. It is personal experiences and not. Basically, I'm not saying like they casted a spell on me and made me do this. This was all my choice. And that's with like any kind of addiction and anything in the past. There is a choice of doing it. And it's just whether or not we keep making that choice or we see what we're doing before we change. But I started watching these channels, and then I felt very like I had to do this too. And especially it got even worse when I started my own YouTube channel, because I've seen how big these guys were getting, all these other channels and stuff, and what they were doing. So I thought I had to mimic that. So I was justifying a nice dopamine, whatever, serotonin release in my brain by buying and hunting games and stuff like that, because it was for the YouTube channel and I was watching other people do it, so it was okay. So, just talking about this now and how insane it was for a few years. Why I was buying all these games because I was getting good deals. I felt FOMO buying. I was watching these other guys buy games like this, and then they were reselling. And then for a while there, I was more of a reseller than a collector. And then I became more of a collector than a reseller. And then I just was like, one day I'd sit here and seen all these games around here, and I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. It wasn't fun for me anymore. It was more of a burden. And to this day, it's been about a year since I really purged a bunch of my stuff. I'm still purging stuff all the time. Little stuff here and there, using the money for other stuff, actually building memories with my family and stuff like that. I've talked about how that's helped in the past too, how I've best been free. I locked myself in the spot and felt like I needed to keep doing this stuff. Felt like I needed to keep buying this stuff. If I wanted to become huge on YouTube, I had to keep doing what these other people were doing. And it's not, like I said, it's not them saying that, okay, you need to buy these games. It's not like they were telling me I had to do this to get a good channel. No, I was just watching what they were doing and felt that I had to copy it so I could get the same results. But obviously I'm not, and there's multiple different things that could go wrong here, variables that are in play. Like some of these people, I'm not in those areas with constant flea markets. I'm not in the areas where there's bigger amounts of people where more games are easily to get. I'm in a small town, Iowa, with like 1,200 people, and the biggest city we have is like 90 miles away. So how am I supposed to expect to hunt as good as these people if I can't even be in a general area? So there was a lot of disappointment, guilt, and shame. But I think that also is what made it really awesome when I did get a good haul. Whether it was a cart, like a tote full of GameCube stuff that somebody had just sitting in the closet, or I remember the one time I found a huge lot that somebody's mom saved everything from their childhood, and they just wanted to unload it and get rid of it. So I bought was like boxed NES games and boxed NES itself, and and all this other stuff. So it felt really good when I'd find everything like this. But these channels were doing all this, and I thought that's what I had to do to compete with them. And then I've actually talked in the past too how obviously I had a lot of YouTube friends, and though we were comrades and stuff like that, we were supporting each other. I did feel like sometimes it was competitive. Now this is not to say that this was competitive for them towards me as well, but in my sick brain or whatever, I felt like I had to compete with these guys. I had to make better videos than them. I wanted to get monetized before these other guys, but when they would get monetized before me, I felt so like a failure. And which influenced me more to push really hard to start doing stuff that I probably shouldn't do, and to buy more games, because somebody did a pickup video and got 1,000 views, and I did a pickup video that was kind of generic and only got 30 views. So that means I need to have the most insane pickup video ever. So now granted, I never did like some people where they were using credit cards, they were doing other stuff. I never went beyond my financial means. I don't want people to think that I was like, taking loans out for these things. A lot of times when I was buying games, it was within budget. It was just like I had to get lucky and find a huge lot to be able to do this. But yeah, it was like, it was in the end, I've been having people comment, and they'll still comment on this video, that I'm going to regret everything I sold because someday it's going to be worth a bunch of money or stuff like that. But here's the thing of it is like I said, I don't think I was the best collector in the world, or I didn't really think about collecting as collecting. I was more hooked on the game hunting itself. Just along the lines of the same like with sports cards. I mean, you see obviously a few like right there and everything like that, Josh Allen and some Najee Harris and some other stuff. I was more thrilled with opening packs than owning the cards themselves for the longest time, and it wasn't until I kind of actually noticed that and was like, okay, maybe I should actually just buy the players' cards instead of packs trying to get the players. But then you're always like, and people do this, I know a lot of people that get Pokemon cards and everything that goes along with that, and the thrill of opening it up and getting a rare card is addictive. And I really feel like, I mean, I could do this, I've done videos and talking about this too. I feel like this is one way to get kids hooked on stuff like that. And then they obviously, when you're in Walmart, they're flipping out because they want a pack of Pokemon cards and blah blah blah. And this is a legal form of gambling for them, because I grew up that way too. I wanted Pokemon cards, I wanted sports cards, and they're not cheap, especially nowadays. They are ridiculously priced. But anyways, I think I'm getting off subject. But yeah, and it's funny because there's obvious fitness influencers and stuff like that where they know what they're doing. They're influencing you to doing this. Obviously, I think it's a little bit different with YouTube for the most part. I know channels like Game Chasers and stuff like that, they weren't there to try to influence everybody to start hunting games. In fact, they probably didn't really want you to, because that way they could find the deals. They can find stuff like that. And I think a lot of channels are like that. They're obviously doing this because they love it and they're making money off of it. But yeah, I mean, you could probably ask any of those guys too. They're kind of like, well, I'm not doing this to try to influence people to start doing it, because then there's less stuff for them to find. Or in the long run, if too many people are doing it, like we've talked about retro game YouTube and stuff being heavily saturated with the channels and stuff like that nowadays, doing videos about stuff like this, you know, as much as I kind of didn't think this was true in the past, I'm starting to see it more and more nowadays. But YouTubers and stuff like that are influencing somewhat the prices of, you know, the games, obviously, because we're doing more about it. We're influencing more people to start collecting again. And so they're going out to buy the games more. And people are seeing this, so they're starting to sell the games for more. And it's just kind of a crazy cycle. But, yeah, I think that's kind of what I want to just leave off today. I need to talk more about this stuff because I actually enjoy these discussions. And I feel like if I sat here and really just yapped, got caffeinated, had a coffee or something too much, you know, I could sit here and just talk for hours about some of this stuff. And especially with your own way of thinking and how crazy some of this stuff could get, it's nuts. So I love your guys' comments. Please comment below. I saw something today. There's this new thing called hype. So whatever that means, guys, if you made it to this point, hype up this video or whatever. YouTube just does some crazy stuff sometimes, guys. So with that being said, guys, I want to know in your comments below what you guys have thought about this. Have you ever felt influenced by videos, Metal Jesus Rocks, anything like that, where they were like, hey, you need to buy this game, it's a hidden gem, it's really fun, and then you went out and bought that and you were just like, this is garbage? Or is it just kind of like in the past, have you just, because even like right now, as much as I don't game hunt and stuff like that, I will see a game hunting video and feel like pumped. You know what I mean? Like, man, I should go hit up Goodwill right now, or I should go on, you know, Marketplace or something to see if I can find any games. And that might just be me being an, you know, having an addictive personality and stuff like that. But I want to know if you guys are similar about this stuff, or what is your opinions on this stuff. So I appreciate all you guys for watching these videos. I love the support I always get. You guys make this fun, and yeah, you guys influence me to keep going. So, oh God, now as always, guys, stay retro, my friends. God bless. Thank you so much for coming today and hanging out with me, and I hope you guys have a great week.